everyone, and welcome back to episode number 50, actually, of the Nord and Block podcast, and episode number 104 of the NordCast. It is Monday, May 6th, 2025. I'm your host here, Nord97, joined with LeBlock James. LeBlock, how we doing?
It stings. It stings so much. Why does it sting?
Yeah, we're going to get all into that and more here in just a couple of minutes. But the first round, as of an hour or two ago, has officially been finalized, and we're going to go through all the series now. So, where do you want to start, Mr. LeBlock James? The Eastern Conference or the Western Conference?
Let's start with the most recent series that ended. That's fresh in our minds right now.
Yes, so let's go to St. Louis, Winnipeg, where the Winnipeg Jets completed what I thought was probably one of the craziest games and craziest results I've ever seen. With less than 3 seconds left, Cole Perfetti ties the game for Winnipeg in Game 7. And then in double overtime, Adam Lowry tips a Neil Pionk shot, who, by the way, played like over almost 50 minutes in that game. And the Jets defeat the St. Louis Blues in 7 games. So this is a series where the home team won every single time. And it was a prime example through all of it. And there was a lot of ups, there was a lot of downs for both teams. But in the end, Winnipeg takes the series. LeBlanc, what was your overall thoughts? How's your bracket, by the way?
Bracket is cooked. Both of my finalists are out. So
you know what's funny? My bracket is still alive. I went 7-1 in the first round. My final is still very possible. Just the only thing is that my one round that I got wrong was Tampa Bay, and I feel like an idiot for that.
My backup bracket though is still solid. So
I bet, yeah. I mean, overall, like mine is very good. It's way better than it's been in previous years. It's 88% correct.
Okay.
But just that one round, man, completely messed me up. And now I'm not going to get points for conference finals unless if Carolina wins. Just terrible.
My conference finals were Colorado, Vegas, and then it was Carolina, Tampa.
Yeah, mine's just the opposite way around with Dallas. So yeah,
like I'll be honest, I took 2 of the riskier series to pick from because like you knew, like coming in, you knew Florida or Tampa could come out of that series, and Dallas or Colorado is going to come out of that series.
Yes, 100%. So that was definitely something.
If the final is Florida-Dallas, I'm going to throw hands if the nearest person I see. I'm not going to lie.
Anywho, going back to the series in Winnipeg, St. Louis, as we go off topic, what have been your thoughts on that just through all of it?
How the St. Louis Blues could have easily taken this series.
They messed up.
They had him on the ropes in Game 1. They had him on the ropes. Like, at home, St. Louis dominated. Like,
it wasn't close.
Dominated. But Game 1, they had him on the ropes. Game 5, they had Winnipeg looking a little bit shaky. Tonight, they look shaky. They made the Jets look shaky. And just they don't have, there's no mama mentality, no ice in the veins, Kobe, like nothing like that with the Blues out on the road, which is a shame because I really do think Winnipeg didn't deserve to win this series.
The Jets also dealt with injuries throughout the entire series as well. They were missing Scheifele for games 6 and 7. They were missing Ehlers for games 1 through 4. They were missing Velarde through games 1. Oh, wait, no. Games 1 through 6 was Ehlers. They were missing Velarde for games 1 through 5. They didn't have Morrissey throughout all of that game 7.
He got hurt tonight.
And Hellebuck looked garbage through a lot of those games. Even tonight, he didn't look that good. And he's lucky that his team came out here with the win. So, I got to be honest, yeah, you're kind of right. They're lucky to win this series, but as well as that, too, they won this series without a lot of their top players through a lot of it. I wonder if, again, they have a couple of days here to kind of heal. They have Monday and Tuesday to just let everybody be healthy, see how Morrissey's injury is. I think maybe there's a chance that Scheifele's back by Wednesday. Ehlers and Velarde, I'm not even so sure they're 100%. Maybe they'll be back and healthier in Game 1, but I wonder, like, fully healthy Jets team, I think they could beat Dallas, to be honest with you.
Here's the thing, though. Dallas wasn't healthy either against Colorado. Now they're going to get their reinforcements probably.
That's true. I would sure they get Heiskanen, probably, is what we're hearing.
Robertson might be like game 3, game 4, though.
Yeah, he might not be for a little bit longer. But we really don't know what the status of him, so we'll see. But anyways, going back to this series, it's just like kind of a disaster class by St. Louis. Like, I can't believe it. They were up by 2 with 2 minutes left. Mm-hmm. And you fumbled it. I can't believe that. That is unbelievable. It's worse than Dallas, Colorado, which we'll get into in a little bit. Just like terrible. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, like it sucks how literally your no lead is safe. I think we've figured this out for the past 2 nights here. No lead is safe. And it could switch on a dime like that. Like Colorado was up 2-0 heading into the third last night. What happened? Same thing here. But like St. Louis, if they just get one block there, one extra block, one extra zone clear, they're going to the second round.
Yeah, they're playing Dallas right now, and we're sitting here doing that preview. And no, it didn't go that way. Just insane. And that shows, like, the last 24 hours have been, first off, incredible for the game of hockey. And secondly, it shows you that these are the playoffs. Anything can happen, and that's why we are better in the playoffs than other sports. And I stand by that. Yeah,
I will say, playoff hockey's known for its upsets. Like, that's the one thing, like, that's one marketable thing about, other than, March Madness, which their whole thing is upsets. Like, hockey's known for
any this year, actually.
There wasn't, like, I was kind of sad. I'm happy St. Louis won. I'm happy Winnipeg won, because I love seeing Canadian teams advance. I'll never root against a Canadian team that's not named Toronto or Montreal. But I really wanted an upset. I really wanted the St. Louis upset tonight.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah. Honestly, I mean, like, there was no real upsets. First off, all the divisional winners moved on. That stayed the same. All the conference winners moved on. Even, like, for the most part, the second seed teams moved on as well. Like, it really wasn't that big of, like, an upset type of year, honestly. There were a couple of teams that were, like, quote-unquote favored to win, but even then, like, you could have made an argument for Oilers over Kings, could have made an argument for Panthers over Lightning, you could have made an argument for Dallas over Colorado. I mean, like, there really was no upsets this year, and Winnipeg was the final icing on the cake for that.
Yeah, and like last year we didn't have a lot of upsets either. So
yeah, it's
like it used to be how like hockey you needed like puck luck. You needed puck luck to get far. Now I think that narrative is kind of changing, where you need to actually have the skill. Which the narrative many years, like this past decade, has been you need puck luck to get a championship.
For sure. Yeah, I think that again, it really isn't a lot about luck anymore. There is some there. And as well as that, too, it's just like how much depth you have, honestly. And Winnipeg, I think, was the deeper team. I do really like, though, I want to give St. Louis their flowers. I really liked how that fourth line played in this playoffs. Like, what's his last name? Walker. Not Sean Walker. Why is his name blanking?
Nathan.
Who? Nathan Walker. Yeah. Former Hershey Bear and all that. Just beat him today, Phantoms. Anywho. Played incredibly. He had like 3 goals in this series. Radek Fax had a goal tonight. Toropchenko and Sundqvist just looked very active and physical out there. I generally thought that like St. Louis played very well. Like the whole team played good. I just can't believe that they choked that at the end. It's unreal. It's unreal. And I thought for Winnipeg too, like I thought their third and fourth lines looked good as well. Like Morgan Barron and guys like that. And Nemestikov had a really good series too. Overall, just like I thought both teams in terms of the entire team played very well in this series, including Binnington. Hellebuck, jury's still out for that. I'm surprised. I'm honestly surprised that they made it out of that first round.
I'm going to ask you a couple questions here. Who is your series MVP?
For this series, I gotta go with Kyle Connor. Kyle Connor was unreal in this series. He scored 2 game-winning goals Had I think 8 points. He was phenomenal.
Who was the best player on the St. Louis Blues?
On the Blues?
This series. Let me just make
That's a good question.
I honestly think I'm going to say my answer is probably Bennington.
Yeah, off the top of my head, it's Bennington. I'm trying to think of guys who really contributed for the team though, offensively.
Robert Thomas had a good series.
Yeah, Thomas played well for sure. I thought Snuggerud, he wasn't scoring points, but I thought for a young rookie, he played very well.
He played very well. Cam Fowler had a very good series too.
Yeah, Fowler, good lord,
Fowler had I think he had 9 or 10 points.
Yeah, that was such an incredible pickup by St. Louis to get that done. So I give a ton of credit there to them for that. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I would say Bennington off the top of my head.
I'm going to ask you this last one. This last one is... I got 2 more. So, Winnipeg. Who would you say was the worst player in this series for Winnipeg?
Low-key might have been Hellebuck. I'm not going to lie to you. Just, the inconsistency is enough to make him the worst player. Even though, to be honest, I thought a lot of those goals were just poor defensive play. But in Game 7, dude, good lord. Those goals that St. Louis scored, again, they're lucky to have won this series.
I'm not gonna lie. When they scored within the first minute on enemy territory, Game 7, I thought, "Oh, St. Louis is gonna win this. It's done."
I mean, I was at the Phantoms game, and I showed it to my dad, and he's like, he's pulling for Winnipeg just because he's a bandwagon, and he just picks the top team in the league every year. But that's why he's been heartbroken for 35 years. I mean, to be honest, I showed it to him, and he's like, "Oh, uh-oh." Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is probably St. Louis's way, but.
And then the final question here, St. Louis going forward. I don't know how much cap they have this summer. I don't know what their plans are. Do you think this is a fluke?
I mean,
so I'm going to ask you this question again next season.
A lot of it likely is the head coaching boost. I think a lot of it is that way. I think this team can be good enough to make the playoffs, but it's not a divisional team, especially with the way that the Central is built. You have 4 teams in there that are divisional teams, honestly, and St. Louis might be one of them. Honestly, I mean, all it takes is for a hot second half of the season, and boom, you're in. But I think they're one of those teams that is fringe playoffs, in my opinion, unless if they make another needle moving move. But maybe all it takes is another Cam Fowler player, and they could be good. But I don't know.
Like I said, I don't have anything pulled up on St. Louis. I don't know what their needs are going to be. Because I feel like St. Louis is on paper they're a pretty decent team.
Yeah, they're good on paper. Just with me, I look at all the other teams that are competing for the playoffs. First off, you have the 3 teams that made it this year in the Pacific. You have the 3 teams that made it in the Central. You have Minnesota, I would say. You have a couple of teams that are on the fringe, which includes St. Louis. I would include Utah in there. I'm pulling for them next year.
Utah's on the come up. You never know. Nashville could bounce back.
Nashville could bounce back. You have Calgary there, too, who is just on the outside.
Calgary's in the Pacific.
Yeah, but I'm talking about wild card.
Oh, wild card. Sorry.
That's what I meant. But yeah, in the division, you have six pretty good teams, honestly. Maybe even 7. You can make an argument for that. So I don't know. Maybe they make it next year, but if they make a couple more moves and maybe a full season of Snuggerud and Dvorsky, who knows? What is your MVPs and all that? Because you never said yours.
So my MVP is Kyle Connor. Just the way he played. I've done the playoff pool counting for our friend group, and I swear I write Connor at least twice every night they play.
Yeah. He's been insane.
Connor had, like you said, 2 game-winning goals. He had 9 points in this series. My best player on the losing team is Bennington, like we said, and then the LVP for the winning team. I'm going to say Hellebuck. I'll be honest here. I didn't like how Morrissey looked.
Yeah, Morrissey just looked invisible for me a lot of the series. I didn't think he made any needle moving plays, at least in the games that I watched. And again, I'm streaming every single night. I'm not watching Winnipeg St. Louis every game, but I did watch 1, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I didn't really see much out of Morrissey in those games, I'm going to be honest. Yeah, let's move on then from that series to Dallas, Colorado, which had the craziest ending. Might even be more crazier than this. It was storybook. It lived up to the hype. 7 games. It came down to the last goal. Mikko Rantanen with a hat trick in Game 7. Just unreal stuff in that series. What are your thoughts?
Man, first of all, what a series! Like,
Yeah, that was phenomenal.
what a like this series. It was so fun to watch this one, and like we said in our preview, it's a freaking shame this was a first round series.
100%. I have been saying that all season long, that it's a shame that this
And now
is...
the narratives are changing where, they were first round exit to, they lost to a team that could win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, to be honest. Like, that's what it is.
That's how they're going to say it now. They're going to say, first round. No, they won't. If Dallas goes to the final, you're not upset with going to 7 with them.
No, not... I mean, you're upset for not
You are
winning.
upset of losing, but you know what I mean? It doesn't... The loss doesn't sting as much.
No, it doesn't, for sure. For those fans, at the very least.
The fact that Colorado couldn't pull up their bootstraps and couldn't... Dallas was depleted. They didn't have Robertson. They didn't have Heiskanen. Their blue line was decimated. They couldn't pull up the bootstraps.
You know, I even said when I made... Like, I think I was the only one of all of us in, like, the NordCast network that didn't pick Colorado.
You
And
were.
I said from the start, just because, like, I'm, like, such a fan of Dallas, I can't lie to you. Like, after that game, like, oh my God, I'm pulling for them so hard. But, like, I said after that, I'm like, yeah, I don't really like this take, but I'm going to stick with my gut. I'm going to stick with it. I said the same exact thing about Edmonton, LA, and look at that. I got both of them right. And I'm shocked that I did. I thought after Colorado went up 2-0, I'm like, this is done. This is over. I'm going 6-1 on my bracket. But no. Mikko Rantanen late ties the game. Wyatt Johnston with probably one of my best commentary calls ever with that. And then he scores the hat trick. Just a legendary performance. And by the way, Dallas in the regular season and the playoffs had 0 multi-goal comeback games before that.
Yeah, I saw that. They showed that graphic at the beginning of the 3rd period. And I'm like...
Yes.
And I'm like, it's always, I tell you, it's an announcer jinx or it's a graphic jinx. I'm like, great, they're gonna come back.
What's weird is like I've watched like literally every game of the playoffs and I see it all the time or stats like that and I'm like, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. Or like I see where like a team is like 11-1 after a period and I'm like, yeah, they're probably gonna win. And then I see that and I'm like, oh my God, is it really gonna happen? But it happened. It was just actually wild. I can't fathom it. It's unreal. I still don't believe it to this day. They were up 2-0 in that series, or 2-0 in that game, and they blew it. Unreal. And to be honest with you, like I'm going to be blunt with you, Block, I didn't even think Dallas looked good for the first like 4 games.
Oh yeah, no, it was a thing. Dallas led for a total of like a minute and a half for the first 3 games.
Like they didn't look good. They were lucky to be up 2-1, or lucky to have the series tied at 2. Like, I thought, like, Colorado was going to manhandle them in games 5 and 6. They obviously won game 6, but Dallas just destroyed them in game 5, and then game 6, Colorado wins that, and then they go back to Dallas. Just unreal stuff. I can't believe it. The goalies, by the way, they both played incredible. Blackwood, this is his first, like, actual, like, couple of games in the playoffs. And
yeah, he had a few of New Jersey, like, in 2018.
No.
Really?
No, this was his first ever playoff series.
I swear to you, when New Jersey made it in 2019, he was the goalie there.
They didn't make it in 2019.
I'm going to double check that for you. Hang on.
It was Corey Schneider who was in that in 2018, and then back in 2023, it was Vanacek and Schmid. Remember, Blackwood was like the 3rd string. He was that bad when he came up for the team. So, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's right, but yeah, I thought like he looked phenomenal, whether or not it was his first game or first series. I thought Ottinger looked great as well. We really didn't know what kind of Ottinger we were going to get, whether it was going to be playoff Ottinger or just regular inconsistent Ottinger, but we got playoff Ottinger and he just looked phenomenal. I also thought too that, you know, that Colorado power play was incredible. Mikko Rantanen looked great for Dallas. McKinnon looked incredible for Colorado. Just like everything lived up to the hype in this series, and there was absolutely nothing that I have to complain about, honestly. Besides, the commentary from Sean McDonough was pretty bad. I can't lie to you. But you had Sportsnet, so you didn't have to listen to that.
Yeah. No, it was Keith Kincaid and Corey Snyder who were the goalies.
Yeah, I was gonna say it wasn't Blackwood. I don't think.
Yeah, no, Blackwood's not here. Yeah, So, 2018. Yeah, Keith Kincaid started game 1.
That's insane.
Yeah, I was gonna be in my trivia questions now.
Yes, but overall, like I thought the goalies both played phenomenal. It was overall a phenomenal series. So, what is your series MVP?
You got to say it's Rantanen, right?
It kind of like he looked slow through the first like 3 games. Like he didn't even have a point. I think like the first
he had 1 point and assist on the overtime goal.
Yeah, he didn't. He looked so slow through the first 4 games. Only had 1 point in like games 5, 6, and 7. I think he had, I swear, like almost 10 points. Unbelievable. He's here. He's arrived. Insane. What is your? I agree with that. What is your best team on Colorado?
So the best player on the losing team, Nate Dogg, Nate McKinnon.
Yeah, it's got to be Nate McKinnon. He looked great. What is the player that you thought didn't look good on the best team? Dallas.
Now, if we were catching this in Game 5, I would have said Rantanen. But
yeah, I don't know. Like I'm trying to think. Like I didn't really see anybody that looked like bad.
Matt Duchene.
Yeah, Duchene had no goals in that whole series. I saw that stat. He didn't have any goals. So that was some crazy stuff for sure. And then we didn't say this, but who was somebody who underperformed on the losing team?
Ooh, the goat.
Low key, Makar.
Yeah, Makar. Like I want to say, he didn't like 5 points in 7 games isn't bad, but he was so bad defensively this series.
Yeah, first and foremost, like 5 points.
7 crucial giveaways.
5 points for Makar is kind of not that impressive to begin with. I wonder if he was injured. And then again, defensively, he just didn't look good.
No, defensively, he was a nightmare. I think Devon Taves really showed out and looked a lot like the better defenseman in this series.
Yeah, Devon Taves definitely looked a lot better for sure. And then as for Colorado, what do you do next, to be honest? I think, like, again, like, they probably bring the same team back, but you got to figure out Nelson and all that. But overall, just like a colossal collapse, especially what they gave up.
It sucks for Colorado because they went all in this deadline.
They gave up so much. They traded away Callum Ritchie, their top prospect. They traded away their first for next year. They don't even have their first this year. They traded their first next year. They also gave up to Boston Will Zellers, who looks really freaking good. He's going to take a little bit to get to the NHL, but he looks good. And they lost all that. And they give up picks, too, to the Rangers for Lindgren, which, by the way, was bad to begin with. Just terrible stuff from Colorado. And then the fact that they lost this was horrible.
If I'm Colorado, going from here for Colorado, you really just you run it back. Like, there's no point to... I mean, you could maybe, like, do a soft retool.
You know, maybe this is an example of a team that, like, learns from their mistakes and they bring it back and they come in next year and they win the cup. We've seen that many times before.
This team has championship pedigree. Like, it's not like a team like Minnesota or Toronto, no offense, where, like, if you run it back multiple times and it hasn't been successful.
Or it's like Tampa Bay back in 2019 when they got swept. They didn't really have any... They had teams that went to the finals, but they really didn't have any team that, like, won a cup. And they learned from that, and they came in the next year and they won 2 in a row.
And here's the thing. Pete DeBoer has never lost a Game 7.
That's the other thing. And, you know, Jared Bednar has never won a Game 7. So the history, the records don't lie. The stats don't lie, and they always have proven themselves to stay alive. So history repeats itself is the better term of saying it.
But yeah, that's really all I got unless you have... Because Dallas, Winnipeg, that's going to be a really good series.
Yes. Do you want to just preview that now since we did those two, or do you want to just...
now, I guess.
Yeah, why not? So, that's... I honestly, this is what I predicted first off. I know you picked Colorado. But these are two teams that, honestly, were for a little bit there battling for that first place spot. Like Dallas was not that far back of Winnipeg for first in the NHL.
They went on their skid at the end of the year.
Yeah, then they went on their like 8-game losing streak, and then the Jets ran away with it. But overall, this is going to be a very entertaining series. I don't think it's going to be that much of a like hard-hitting or physical series. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't really see that much physicality from either of these teams, in my opinion. But I think this is going to be a really good series. I think all of the second-round series are going to be good.
Yeah, but Dallas is not St. Louis. Dallas will not take kindly to you pushing them around.
That's the biggest thing, yes. And I think with some of the things that Winnipeg got away with in this series, I'm not so sure they're going to get away with it against Dallas. 100%. Like Hellebuck, Dallas will run Hellebuck to the ground if he plays like that again.
Yeah.
So he has to lock in.
And I will say, if the Jets want to win this series, you need to look at Hellebuck and say, hey, that first-round series, brush it off. Start fresh.
Yeah, it's game one of the next round. Just forget about it. Come into this series and lock in. That's what you got to do.
If you're a goalie, you need to have a mind of a goldfish. Just around yesterday, forget about it.
Yeah, honestly. As for the Stars, just, I mean, like, keep it up. Like, I think, again, they need to come out running. They can't just wake up after game 4 this time. You need to start actually playing a full 7-game series. I think, again, like, you just kind of keep what you're doing, and, you know, I think your reinforcements will be back with Heiskanen probably by game 1 or game 2. Again, Robertson might take a little bit more time, but overall, just, I think they got to keep it going. I think they got to lock in, and I think they probably will take this series in, I'm going to say 7, but I think it's going to be Dallas in this.
I was going to do the 3-2-1 thing for us, but I guess you already.
Oh, we'll do that in the next series. Don't worry.
Right. My pick for this series is Dallas in 6.
Yes. So again, we're both leaning Dallas here. Like, I want to pick Winnipeg. I think like overall this bodes well for overall their future and stuff. But as like a team, and they can make runs like this again, it's weird because like this is only the 3rd time they've made it to the second round, and they've all come since 2018. Kind of wild.
Yeah, and the one thing that was really scaring me was like the last time St. Louis won the Cup, they played Winnipeg in the first round.
Yeah.
And then they played Dallas in the next round.
Yeah, so
when I remember that, I'm like, oh shit, this is like the team of destiny. Like, this is like the.
I mean, low key it was for a little bit the way they were going on that run in the second half of the year with Montgomery. But anyways, going back to this series, I think overall, just you gotta watch out. Like, the goaltending's got to get better at Winnipeg. I think for Dallas, just get shots on Hellebuck. But overall, like, I don't think Winnipeg's defense is as good as Dallas's, and that's saying something. Actually, and without Heiskanen, it might be better. But if they don't have Morrissey, which is looking like a possibility,
like, I'm not gonna lie, if there's no Heiskanen, no Morrissey, I would lean slightly towards Winnipeg.
Yeah, now that I think about it, sure. But like, if I think they're gonna have Heiskanen in game 1. I don't know.
Forward-wise, I'm taking Dallas might have the best forward core in the league.
Yeah, forward-wise is definitely Dallas, for sure. Winnipeg, with their injuries, just you can't. I'm not so sure. Even with their guys fully healthy, I don't really pick them.
But what a goaltending battle we have, though.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun if they're both playing to their fully star potential. Ottinger was the backup in the Four Nations for Hellebuck. So it's going to be fun seeing those two pit against each other, for sure.
You know the Jets fans are going to chant U.S. backup in game 1.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, that's what he was, honestly. So I wouldn't be shocked. But overall, I'm really looking forward to the series. It starts on Wednesday at, I think, 9 in Winnipeg, by the way. So look forward to that. Let's move on then from that series and all that to the other end of the bracket, Minnesota, Vegas, and LeBlanc. We lost. Vegas won in Game 6 in 6 games, 3-2. I must say, I thought this series was going to be like all Vegas. I said that in my preview. I said that on the podcast. But I thought Minnesota put up a really good fight.
Yeah, they put up. They showed out. Like, I mean, Kaprizov comes alive. Like, I did not expect that at all. Like, I don't even want to talk about series MVP, but give me Kaprizov already. Like, even for both teams, give me Kaprizov. Like,
okay, yeah. Like, Vegas had a lot of guys who played well, but there wasn't really anybody that just, like, came out. So, yeah.
Like,
MVP Kaprizov for me as well.
You know, Minnesota, after, like, I mean, late in the season, they know they're injured. They did not look great. I thought Vegas was going to come in there and just walk all over them. Philip Gustafsson played so well.
Yeah, honestly, he looked absolutely phenomenal. In every game, he kept the Wild in it. And even in Game 6, like, it was just one goal away, one shot away from it being a Game 6 overtime and possibly a Game 7. So, again, like, I think that there's a lot of optimism there for that. And Minnesota moving forward. One thing, too, with them, and I know we're going to get into this in a little bit, but they're getting that Parise and Sutter contract off the books. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing for them. But I think Vegas, like, through the first 3 games, I didn't think they looked that good, but the overtime kind of shifted momentum, and they obviously won. I mean, like, honestly, to be honest with you, they really didn't even, like, do that well.
Vegas didn't look good this series. I'm gonna be very frank about it. Aiden Hill,
now that I think about it.
Aiden Hill looked awful.
Yeah, Hill looked bad in the first couple of games. Like, honestly, first off, Game 1, it was 3-2, essentially. That fourth goal came with 0.1 left on the clock. It was basically 3-2. Game 2, Minnesota dominated. That was easy. Game 3, Minnesota dominated as well. Game 4 was at OT. I thought Vegas was the better team, but I thought Minnesota should have won it in terms of that.
Game 5 was the offside controversy.
Yes. I mean, it was offside.
It was offside. There was
no controversy to it, but it just, like, they were an offside away from that, and then just poor defense, and then Gustafsson got sick. That's the other thing. Like, if Gustafsson's in net for that, maybe that doesn't even go to... Maybe Minnesota wins that.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, like, just overall, like, I didn't think Vegas looked that great in that series. I think against Edmonton, like, again, another team that I didn't think looked that great defensively either, they really need to tighten it up. 100%.
Yeah, because if you don't tighten up against, Big Jesus, he's gonna put you in a world of hurt. I'm not gonna go sugarcoat that at all. Because Edmonton is a team that can score.
Yep.
They were down 5-1 to LA in Game 1. They came back.
They tied it.
They
should have won it, to be honest with you. So overall, just like Vegas needs to get better. They really do. Who was a player that looked good on the losing team besides Kaprizov? I'll say Gustafsson.
Gustafsson, yeah, like they.
There were a couple of picks for that. You could have said Boldy. Or who else? Hartman, I thought looked good too.
Hartman looked
Ryan
decent.
Hartman.
Yeah,
he looked better since he killed Tim Stutzel. I mean, he did. Who else was on that line? Boldy, Kaprizov, and Eriksson Ek. They all looked phenomenal. What about the LVP on Vegas? I'd say Hill, honestly.
I'd say Hill, but I'm gonna say Eichel.
Eichel wasn't that great either. I agree with that.
All series.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. And then as well as that too, who looked bad on Minnesota that you thought wasn't that great?
There's Faber.
Yeah, Faber looked a little bit lacking. I mean, I know your opinion on Brock Faber. You're not a big fan of him.
But no, even without my opinion, looking at him, he didn't play well defensively in this series. He didn't.
I agree.
He didn't play well offensively in this series. He didn't move the puck well. It felt like Faber looked like he was out of place almost.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And then what do you say about Minnesota moving forward?
Well, that buyout money comes off the books, so Minnesota has the opportunity to create kind of a super team. Yeah,
but here's the thing, though. They got to re-sign Kaprizov.
That's the one thing I was getting to.
And with those rumors in the offseason, got to make it happen.
And Kaprizov's up next year, right?
Yeah, it's not this year. Next year.
They can re-sign him this offseason.
Yes, and I think you do. If I'm being honest. Just like with the way he played, I think you just have to.
I don't care. I don't care how. Honestly, just give him. I would give him Draisaitl money.
Yeah, I would too. Not gonna lie. So we'll see how that plays out. But overall, I thought this was a good series. I thought this was way more entertaining than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be Vegas walking all over them, but I found myself rooting for Minnesota.
This is one of the series where we were a lot of the media outlets came in, so this would be the worst series.
Yeah, and it turned out to be one of the better ones, honestly. That being said, let's get into Edmonton, LA.
Oh, for sure.
Just
disappointing.
A lot of people picked things. Again, this is another series where I was the only one that picked Edmonton of all of you. Actually, no, I think Jack picked the Oilers, but yeah, just Brutal stuff from the Kings. I mean, I gotta be honest with you. The only game they really looked good in was in Game 2. To be honest with you.
Game 1, they looked good until they didn't. If that.
Yeah, so like the whole comeback thing happened. But like they were up 2-0. All they had to do was win one in Edmonton, and you could bring it back to LA and you'd be in good shape.
And I'm going to tell you this right now. After Game 3, my brother, who is the Kings fan, came to me and said, if they don't win Game 4, the series is over. And
yeah.
He's right. And I told him, like, have faith. You were the best team on home ice this year. You had the home ice advantage. I'll be honest, if I'm LA, heads got to roll.
Something has to happen. They announced that they're keeping Jim Hiller. Something else needs to happen then.
Yeah, I think it's the wrong move, but Rob Blake might... I don't know if he's going to get fired or not, but, like...
He should. This is what? 4 years in a row. And you did almost nothing in all 4 of those series to make the team better at the deadline. What, this year you got Kuzmenko? He looked good, but Kuzmenko?
I know, he didn't pull for the big fish. Like, I don't understand what Rob
Not
Blake...
even once. He didn't even try. Like, I mean, if you try, then it's one thing. Like, if you got one big fish... Pierre-Luc Dubois is not a big fish, by the way. He's not a big fish. You're lucky you got Kemper for that, and Kemper looked good.
Kemper's a Vezina nominee.
And by the way, Iafallo, Velarde, all of them are in the second round. He should be fired for that. Dubois is too. Dubois in the second round.
Yeah.
You should be fired. You should be let go.
Yeah, Dylan has the same opinion. Rob Blake has had the most opportunity to fix this team. He went in directions the team probably shouldn't have went. I know when the PLD trade happened, I think we all said, what the fuck is LA doing?
Yeah, we all said that. Not even that, the team should get tear down as well. Not even just the general manager, the team should get tear down.
Here's the thing, LA has an old core and a young core.
They have 2 of the same things. Like their number one guys on defense and forward are their old core. But all their other guys are from the youth end of things.
So what they need to do is, and I'm going to say this right now, they need to do a retool. They really need to retool. And I know we should have said this probably at the end of the series review, but like LA, just like 4 years, the same opponent, you still can't get it done.
Even when Edmonton looked shit in the first game and a half.
It looked so bad.
They looked terrible, especially defensively. Defensively, Bouchard just... Oh, my God. And then Skinner looked horrible. Pickard came in and locked in. I'll give him credit. But so did the Oilers. The Oilers, dominated LA in games 1, or in games 5 and 6. And even 4, not going to lie.
Yeah, but you can't... And scoring was an issue. You can't score on Calvin Pickard. I'm sorry, no disrespect to Calvin Pickard. Calvin Pickard is a backup goalie. He's a backup goalie.
Backup goaltender.
He's low key. He could be. You could say he's fringe AHL starter. Sorry. Fringe backup AHL starter.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's an AHL starter in my opinion.
But
Skinner might be though. But overall, a terrible performance from LA. But anyways, who was your MVP of this series? Draisaitl for sure. He looked great. Who was your MVP for the losing team? I thought Kempe looked phenomenal.
I would say Kempe. I want to
look at the whole first line. Kempe,
Fiala,
Kopitar, and who? Kuzmenko.
Fiala.
They all looked phenomenal. But then
Kuzmenko looked really good too. Kemper looked really good as well.
Kemper might be my pick actually. Kemper, I'm
going to say Kempe because Kempe had 9 points.
Yeah, I'll say Kemper, just because I think that I thought he kept LA in it way more than it could have been. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. Worst player on the winning team.
Worst player on the winning team, Skinner.
It's not even close.
It cannot be Skinner. A second place though, Bouchard provided offense. I really can't say him.
Nurse looked horrific.
Nurse looked pretty freaking bad for a lot of that. But I would say Nurse. And then the LVP on LA. The whole team. I can't lie to you. And just like games 5 and 6.
Like, just like the mentality of the team, just like there's no urgency. Dowdy looked pretty bad, yeah.
Dowdy was pretty bad. I can't think of anybody else who was like not that good. Honest, like the team overall wasn't terrible.
They didn't perform bad. That's the issue that I hate. Like, I hate wrapping my head around. The team didn't perform bad, but like it just didn't. Like here's the thing: you're going to Edmonton, you have a chance to go up 3-0. Where's the urgency?
I'm sure you know that very well.
Yes,
teams that didn't perform bad, but they still lose.
Yeah,
sorry.
Like you need a sense of urgency in the playoffs, and they don't have it. I want to see. Honestly, I want to see LVP Jim Hiller. I'm not gonna lie.
That coach's challenge was the worst challenge ever, and we went on this pod and said that last week. The worst ever.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
I don't think Gavrikov played very well either.
Yeah, Gavrikov wasn't that great. Overall, the whole defense wasn't great. Just coaching decisions from Hiller were terrible. Like taking out Jordan Spence, putting in Moverare.
Taking Brant Clark off power play was not good to see. Going 11-7 in a fucking playoff game.
That's insane.
For Jacob Mover, who, by the way, didn't see the ice until the last minute of the third period.
He didn't play at all to the last minute of the third period?
Yes, so they were running with a man down the entire game.
How is he still a coach?
I know. Like, here's the thing. That's something you can get away with in junior. In the AHL, maybe. At the professional level, no.
Even in the NHL in the regular season, why are you doing that in the playoffs?
Like, I get teams run 11-7 when they don't have enough players, but this, like, you had all the players available.
LA, as far as we know, was healthy.
They were.
As far as we know, they're healthy. Holy crap, dude. Oh, my God. Well, that being said, Edmonton versus Vegas. This will be fun. This will be highly offense. I think with the way that the two goalies played, it'll be, like, very highly offense scoring. I give the depth to Vegas, in my opinion. You could argue Edmonton, though. The defense is 100% Vegas, and the goaltending is
even. I'm not going to lie. It's pretty even.
No, it's Vegas.
Really?
I think.
I mean,
it's not like far-fetched. It's not like a far mile apart, but I think I'll lean Vegas.
Okay, I would say it's more even. I feel like Hill, especially if Hill plays like how he played against Minnesota.
Hill can lock in, though. We've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. But overall, like, I think this is going to be a very fun series. What are your takeaways for both teams?
Takeaways are if Edmonton can play how they played games 3 through 6,
they'll win this series.
I think they'll win this series. If they play they did games 1 through 2, they're going to lose this series.
Yeah, honestly. As for Vegas, kind of the same thing could be said.
Just clean it up.
4 through 6.
Yeah, no. Both teams need to clean it up.
Yeah, they both kind of got lucky that they played against teams that are just not able to get over the hump. But this is going to be a very fun one, I think. So, what else was I going to say? Prediction. 3, 2, 1. Vegas. Yeah, I got Vegas too. Low key though, like I'm not like confident in it though.
I'm not confident in it at all either. Like this series, like I'll be honest, I have no sense of direction, and I think my pick is Vegas in 7.
Yeah, I got Vegas in 7 as well. Like I think honestly, if like Edmonton's goaltenders shit the bed like they did in the other games, I think that it could be Vegas in 6 or 5, for being honest. But I think overall, just like Edmonton still has that championship pedigree, in a sense where they made the final pedigree.
Yeah.
I think overall they're still very good. I don't think we should underestimate them against the Golden Knights. But Vegas is my cup pick. I gotta go Vegas.
Remember last playoffs where I didn't pick Edmonton until the final,
and then they lost. Way to go!
I didn't pick Edmonton until the final. Like I picked Edmonton to beat LA, then I picked Vancouver, then I picked Dallas because I didn't trust.
Okay, that's what I meant. All right, yeah, I thought you said
didn't trust the goaltending
to win. Yeah, so we'll see. All
right, going into the East.
Move on to the Eastern Conference. Let's just start off with your team, Toronto and Ottawa. Toronto wins it in 6. We sat here after Game 4. It ended up ending in 6. But LeBlanc, just what were your thoughts for this entire series?
I was bawling my eyes out.
You were like drinking. It was terrible.
Listen, I was already drinking when they lost. I'm like, might as well just drink some more.
Yeah, but overall, like for this whole series, what were you thinking?
I'll be honest, I was happy to be there. There was no pressure on Ottawa at all for this one, anyway. Ottawa comes in, and I was like, "Oh, you're just gonna say it because you lost." Actually, I'm not, because I would have said this if we won too. Toronto was heavily favored in this series.
Yes.
Like, and I love how it's like, "Oh, we weren't favored." I'm like, "Yes, shut up." No, I don't want to hear like, "Oh, we were underdogs." You won the fucking division.
They definitely weren't underdogs. But there were a lot of people that picked Ottawa just because it's the Leafs.
Yeah,
they were still the favorites.
Yeah, I think the Leafs. I'll be honest. I don't think the Leafs play outside of Game 1. I don't think the Leafs played very well.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm gonna be honest with you. If they play the way they just played against Florida, they're losing.
They're gonna get smacked. Yeah,
they're gonna get absolutely killed.
The one thing I will say, and I said this in my video, the one thing that really made a difference in this series was playoff experience, which you said was going to happen coming in. And I
thought that was going to be.
I didn't realize how much in. I always used to brush off playoff experience, how it's not really a big factor. Turns out it's a pretty big fucking factor.
Well, that's because we've had teams that have just made the playoffs every single year. The same teams have made the playoffs every year. Then they're like, now we're starting to finally get some new teams in there for the first time in like 10 years.
Yeah, and then the Leafs defense, I really underrated them coming into the series. The ability to get sticks on pucks, the ability to block shots from anywhere. Like, if they don't do that, Ottawa might have forced Game 7. Like,
look, yeah. To be honest, I mean, it was 2-2. It literally could have gone the other way.
Yeah, it's like their defense is great, and Stolar's played fantastic. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I mean, like I thought, like the core four scored. The core four scored a lot more than they did in previous years.
Outside of Matthews, yeah.
Yeah, a lot outside of Matthews. I think Matthews is still dealing with that injury. I think that's still there.
But they went up 3-0. But we had 3 straight overtime games.
Yeah, it could have easily been 3-2 Ottawa, or 3-1 Ottawa, not 3-2.
It could have easily been 2-2. It could have easily been. At least could have easily swept too. Like I hate playing the woulda, shoulda, coulda game because it's not based in reality.
No, it's not. It's just like predictions and all that. But
like oh, we were 1 post away from us sweeping. I'm like, yeah, you were about a turnover away from it being 2-2.
Exactly. So overall, like I don't know. Honestly, like I think overall the Leafs played not as good. I thought the defense was very good. I thought that the goaltending was great. Just how they played as a team offensively wasn't good enough for me. And they're lucky to have won this in 6, and they're lucky it was Ottawa and not Tampa or Florida.
Yeah, no, like I want to put it very clear. If Ottawa has playoff experience now, that's good for them going forward. That's very good for them going forward. But like if this was an experienced playoff team, Toronto may have lost this series.
Yeah, not gonna lie. It would have gone 7, but I think they still would have lost it, to be honest with you.
And like playing an inexperienced team, like you won the division, you get the right to play the wild card team. I'm not gonna say, oh, it's not fair. We need to play Toronto. It is what it is. At the end of the day, I got to experience playoff hockey. The city was a buzz. I would go out for my walk with the dog, and basically, you see Sens flags in the window. You see Sens flags on the playoff flags on the cars everywhere. It was great to have it back. And I think the future's really bright for Ottawa. I think they'll be back there next year.
MVP of this series,
William Nylander.
For low-key Stolarz. Not gonna lie, Stolarz is me. MVP for the losing team.
I'm going to say Jake Sanderson.
Sanderson looked great. I think my first player that comes to mind is Ullmark.
For best or worst?
I mean, Ullmark definitely looked good in games 4 through 6. I don't know. My MVP, I would say, yeah, probably Sanderson. But I want
to shout out, like, Sanderson played, like, defensively, he was fantastic.
Yes.
And then I would say Kachuk and Stutz also looked very good. They looked very good.
Yeah, they also looked very phenomenal there too. The MVP or the LVP for the winning team.
McMahon.
Yeah, McMahon didn't score at all. He wasn't that great. He hasn't scored in like 16 games or whatever. Just
McMahon.
Brutal stuff. And then what is the LVP of the losing team?
Drake Batherson. Like, this
Yeah,
brutal. He had scored the first goal for the Senators in a playoff game the first time in 8 years, and then he mistake after mistake after mistake.
Yes, he was low-key a ghost throughout.
Turnover in game 2 in overtime. I just couldn't hang on to the puck.
Yeah, honestly.
Lots of turnovers that led to goals. There's now, I know the rumor, it's fresh, so you have like the stupid rumors, but like there's rumors that Drake Batherson might not be back. There's rumors that Drake Batherson might be getting traded. Rumors that the fans don't want him back. It's all just let the tide just like wash over you, and then we'll start again in June.
Well, you told me last night that you think the Senators are going to move on from Zoop.
Yeah, that was a rumor there as well. I don't think that's going to happen, but
well, it's the offseason. We're going to hear a ton of shit. There's a ton of shit that won't happen. And then that being said, what's next for Ottawa?
You need to go sign a sniper. You need to go sign a defenseman. Because I don't think Yakimchuk is ready.
No, they did call him up, though.
They called him up. I think they wanted him in the room for the experience.
Yeah, low-key, to be honest. But yeah, Toronto moves on to the second round where they will play Florida, who just defeated Tampa Bay in 5. This was another disappointing one.
Once again, we got the series last year. We said it was going to be a great series, and then it turned out to be cats in 5. And then
we all said Tampa. I'm pretty sure.
We all said Tampa.
Yeah, everybody said Tampa Bay, at least in the crew, not like overall. Honestly, just Tampa, like from the start, didn't look good. From the start,
the power play that was hot all year just fizzled out.
By the way, Kucherov, no goals in 15 straight games in the playoffs.
That's crazy.
He doesn't have a goal since game 1 of Toronto.
What?
In 2023.
That's actually fucking insane.
Yeah. He hasn't scored since then. It's wild. You're looking at me to see if that's right. Yeah, it's just wild stuff. I can't believe it, honestly, that it's actually a real thing. But Tampa just from the start looked bad.
Yeah, like I said before, their power play that was hot all year. Just like they went like 1 for 17 in the series.
Yeah, and the other thing too, Florida just woke up.
They woke up.
They are the only team that I know that can play shit towards the end of the regular season and then wake up in the playoffs.
And like I keep coming back to my theory, where if you play like shit to end of the year, you're gonna play like shit in the playoffs. I think I need to retire that theory.
Not entirely, because it does happen a lot of the time, but Florida just keeps proving the narrative wrong. Unreal.
But yeah, very disappointing. But who's your MVP?
MVP for this series, I gotta say, I really thought Sam Bennett looked phenomenal. Let me hang on a second. Let me confirm that real quick.
I'm gonna go Bob.
Bob was really good, I would say. Like the whole team looked great. I gotta be blunt. Like the whole team looked good. There wasn't a bad player on Florida, to be honest with you. So I'd say low-key, like Matthew Tkachuk came back, scored 3 goals after missing like half the year. Who's your MVP for Tampa Bay?
It's tough. Jake Gensel had a good series.
Gensel looked good. Gensel's like one of the best playoff players in the NHL. He has some pretty good records that he holds. Who was your LVP for Florida? Kind of Verhaeghe. Even though he had 3 points in 5. That just shows how like insane it is, honestly. Who was your LVP for Tampa Bay? It's got to be Kucherov for me.
Vasi.
Vasi, or you could like even argue like Brandon Hagel, who I didn't think looked that great.
Hagel was injured, and Hagel definitely disappointed. Thank you, M-Bomb. Thank you, Michael Barter. I appreciate you.
For the Conn Smythe, that's insane. It's insane. I can't believe he actually did that. But yeah, as for Tampa,
I want to say though before we end this that like Tampa Bay came out with their injuries. Jesus Murphy. Did you see the list?
Oh, I didn't see the list. Do you have it?
Henry was playing on a broken foot. There's a whole. I thought you saw me. I thought you saw the list. That's why I mentioned it. But yeah, the list was like There's a long list
Oh.
of injuries. But
So do you think that will make things a little bit more nervous against Toronto? That Florida beat a injured Tampa Bay team, apparently.
I still think Florida is going to take this series, and it's a spoiler alert for our next segment. But yeah.
Yeah. That being said, let's get into that. Let's just do a prediction right away. Florida versus Tampa Bay. 3, 2, 1. Panthers.
All right, Florida.
Florida. Okay, that didn't go too well. Yeah, I just think Florida. Like, I thought they were the better team in Tampa Bay versus Florida, and I thought overall, just like the way Toronto played, they're going to kick Toronto up and down the road.
Yeah, I don't see. I'll be honest. I don't see a scenario where Toronto wins this series.
I can see it, because if Stolarz plays unreal and the core four actually shows up, then I can see it. But I just think like Florida is the better team. They look better than they did last year. It's going to be a massive hill to climb if Toronto can win this series.
My official prediction is, Cats in 5. Cats. No. It's Cats in 6.
I got Cats in 7. I still think Toronto's going to force it and play pretty hard. I think they're going to play a lot better than they did in previous series. But overall, yeah, I can't see.
I also am a big fan of history repeating itself. Last time Florida and Toronto played, Toronto had home ice advantage.
They did.
And Toronto lost all the home ice advantage games.
They did, yes. So again, just something that you have to think about there as well. History always does repeat itself. I agree with that. And yeah, I think like again, like the goaltending is going to play a big factor in this series. Defensively, it's going to play a big factor too. Just overall, I got to see a lot more here from Toronto if I want them to win this series. That being said, let's move into the last sector of this. Let's start off with Washington, Montreal. This went the way we thought it was going to. Capitals in 5. What were your thoughts?
I thought the series was going to go longer. I'll be honest. I thought Montreal, if they could get the scorers to score, would have been a longer series. But no, Washington takes care of them pretty easily. Montreal just inexperience for some of the guys, not a lot of them. Couldn't defend. I think that was one of the main issues. Couldn't defend, and then Montreal got hurt. That kind of sealed their fate.
Yeah, and that was pretty much it for that. They won Game 3, which we thought was going to happen, but then it wasn't close the rest of the way. And yeah, I mean, again, like Montreal kind of stayed in it though for a lot of it. Like, I think again, Game 1 was tied 2-2. They came back after being down 2-0. They lost in overtime. Game 2 was 3-1 with an empty net goal. Game 3, Montreal won that. Game 4 was tied until like 2 minutes left. Mm-hmm. And then Game 5 was also pretty close, but then it wasn't. So I thought Montreal played well. They got much needed playoff experience. There is nothing to hang your heads about there in that series. But yeah, overall, just not surprised whatsoever. Washington played the way I thought they were going to. Who was your MVP of this series?
Dylan Strome.
Strome, for like a first-time playoff player, looked great. Almost first-time playoff player.
Second-time playoff player.
Yeah, honestly. Who was your MVP for the losing team?
Wayne Hudson.
Oh, you hate to say that, don't you?
I do.
No, I thought that like Suzuki and all of them looked good. I guess, yeah, probably Hudson. For like a rookie playoff defender, he looked great.
Points-wise, yeah, but defensively he was not great. But
yeah, defensively not that great. I mean, that's been the narrative all year. LVP on the winning team.
John Carlson.
Carlson didn't look that great either. I thought like he could have been better in that series for sure, and that's something they're going to have to look at there heading into Carolina. And then who was your LVP for Montreal?
You're going to maybe take my head off when I say this. Nick Suzuki.
No, it's Matheson. Matheson should be sent to Mars. He was pretty bad.
He was really bad, but I expected way more from Nick Suzuki.
Actually, he was on that playoff run a couple of years ago. I mean, again, like, I wasn't too mad at his play. I guess you could have expected more from him, but I didn't think he was the worst player for...
Suzuki had 2 points in 5 games.
That's actually pretty bad. I don't know. I think he's up there. Worst forward, probably. Or at least performing forward. And then as for Montreal, what's next?
This is a great season for Montreal. There's nothing to do. You should keep developing.
Maybe make a couple moves.
Maybe
try and
maybe contact NASA, see if Madison's gonna take DeMars. But yeah, no, like they're ahead of schedule. This is great for Montreal. This is great experience for the young guys, and Montreal is going to be in this dogfight for the Atlantic for a very long time to come.
Yeah, and it just continues, like the 4 to 6 teams that can make it. So yeah. That being said, final series, Devils Canes, not really
Skip. Oh my god. Like the worst series I've ever seen in my life. I'm not gonna lie to you. This was brutal to watch from start to finish.
It wasn't brutal to watch, but it was the worst series, in my opinion. Just like it was lopsided. Every game wasn't close. The overtimes weren't even really that close either. Like, it was Carolina the entire way through. The entire way. And it's the second straight year where the team that actually, it was the second straight year where the team that lost the series won their only game in overtime. So.
New Jersey had one shot in the double overtime.
Yeah, I mean, they had a double minor penalty, so, I didn't really take too much consideration into that.
No, I meant, from the start of overtime to the end of double overtime, they had one shot.
Seriously?
Yes. It's 1 or 2 shots.
I'm going to fact check you on that. But yeah, I just thought it wasn't close. It was all Carolina the entire way through. It was not remotely close. We knew that was going to be the result. So yeah, not surprised. Series MVP.
Aho, yeah.
Sebastian Aho. They had 4 shots through the whole overtime frame. Carolina had 19. Yeah, Aho was the MVP. He was just incredible. He is a playoff player, by the way. Playoff player right there.
Yeah.
MVP for the losing team, Markstrom.
Markstrom played fantastic. I'm not going to lie to you.
Just about everybody on Dallas looked bad. Or Dallas. New Jersey looked bad. I'm not going to lie. LVP for the winning team. This one's kind of hard.
Dawson Mercer.
I meant for the winning team, not the losing team. But Mercer, yes, I'll say that for the losing team.
On the winning team?
Yes.
I expected more from Svetch.
Svetch had 6 points in 5 games.
Excuse me, she's not Svetch. Who am I thinking of? Who am I thinking of? Why am I blanking? It wasn't Svetch. It was somebody else.
Taylor Hall, Logan Stankoven, Jordan Marnook, Jackson Blake, Seth Jarvis, Chatfield, Orloff.
Stahl, sorry.
Stahl had, no points through that whole time. I mean, he's old. I guess I'll go with Stahl. I really didn't think there was anybody who was, horrendous on this team. Again, they dominated. The entire way through, they dominated.
Yeah.
They dominated. LVP on the losing team, Mercer, I'd say.
Mercer cost them the penalty that got them the goal.
I really didn't think,
But I'll be honest,
that entire team didn't look that good.
I'll be honest, that might be the last time you see Dawson Mercer in a Devils jersey.
You think so?
I mean, he's surrounded by trade rumors, and I think this might be time for a fresh start.
Maybe. We'll see. And then as for the Devils, what's next? Kind of just run it back. I gotta say this, though. I really don't like the way they played the last 2 years, where they just, play super well until January 1st, and then you just flip off a switch.
Yeah, no, and then they just cruise to the playoffs, or try to cruise.
That is not okay. That is not okay. You can't do that. And they're lucky they made it this year with half-decent goaltending.
Yeah, they were the 7th team in the East. If they were in the Atlantic, they may have missed the playoffs.
In the Atlantic, probably. No, yeah, they would have been. If, the Metro was just so ass. It was those 3, honestly those 2, and then just, the Devils were the 3rd tier, and then the Rangers were just not good. Blue Jackets started losing. No, it just, if
they would have been tied with Montreal for the final wildcard spot if they were in the Atlantic.
Yeah, so just overall, not a good performance from the Devils in the second half of the year. And then that leaves the final series of the second round, Carolina-Washington, 3, 2, 1, Carolina.
Washington.
Really? All right, this is the first one we disagree with. Why? Why do you have the Caps?
I've been going back and forth on this for at least the past week now, because it's been not week, but like past 5 days, and like I don't know, Washington's clicking. I know they played Montreal. They both played very not great opponents.
Yes, they both played opponents that like I don't really think they're that great. So
I'm trusting Logan Thompson over Kochekov. I'm trusting the defense of Washington over Carolina, and I'm trusting Washington's forward core over Carolina's forward core.
Okay.
I'm putting this. I think it's Washington in 7.
I have Canes in 7. I just think the Canes have more playoff experience. I just think that like Washington, the difference between Washington and Carolina is that Carolina dominated in that series against the Devils. Washington, they played really well, but they really didn't dominate.
Yeah, but I mean,
I get it. I get what you're saying. I will say this: the Caps have that like aura to them. They have that like feel that like this is like
I feel like they're a team of destiny.
Yeah, with the Ovechkin thing and all that, it really does feel like that. But I'm sticking with Carolina. I'm sticking with my gut. I gotta stick with my playoff prediction at the beginning of the season. I'm going with Carolina.
All right, now that we're done with this, I'm going to ask you a couple questions.
Okay.
What shocked you? Could be like not about the series. Could be about something on like the media side of it, something on the player side, something on the coach side of it. What was the biggest shock to you in the first round?
Couple of answers. I'll say number one, just LA's like collapse, like just like the fall from grace after game 2. I thought they had that for sure, but then nope. The other one too was just the last 24 hours. The 2 game 7s were phenomenal.
The biggest shock to me is coming from the media side of things. I can't believe how bad the broadcasting was in this first round.
Oh, that too. Like, I had so many people tune into my streams. First off, I think I did better than Sean McDonough did, by the way. We'll play my calls. They were way better than McDonough in Game 7 of Dallas. I thought, I just thought that they were pretty brutal. Like, the commentators just don't give a shit anymore. Like, they just, like, there's no, like, expression in their calls.
Yeah, no, when we watch the
at least I'm like, he scores!
Here's the thing about I'll say the Sportsnet broadcasters. Like, I might have my gripes with them, but like they actually like put like feeling into it. Like Chris Cuthbert actually has like on a score, Randy Tkachuk, and it's 1-0 Ottawa. Like they actually put like effort into it.
Isn't that the guy who has like the worst sounding voice?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I like Cuthbert though. He just has like a weird.
Here's the thing. I couldn't believe as well how biased all the Canadian broadcasts were. Like not just my own series, but the other series where like me and Dylan were sitting here watching the Kings Oilers game, and like I get it, the Kings aren't a Canadian team, so I wasn't really seeing it.
Because it's a Canadian network.
But like the thing is here, where Ottawa Toronto, it was so bad. Like I had people in Ottawa trying to find the ESPN stream just so they can not listen to it. It was just, I want to put this very lightly because I know how this is going to come out, but it just, the Leafs glazing was just so insane.
I thought it was pretty balanced on the ESPN side of things. Just I thought the overall commentating was bad,
especially with the Ridley Gregg stuff that happened. Like, oh look, Star Wars guy got his money's worth there, and those things, and then ESPN. That's like 4 penalties there, Jim.
Yeah, like yeah, they're definitely biased, but again, like they're a Canadian network. Like, of course, they're going to be biased towards Edmonton and Winnipeg and Toronto because this is a bigger media outlet. Of course, it's going to be that way.
Yeah, but like, even on the ESPN side of things, like the broadcasting is just brutal. Like the only series that had the best broadcaster was like the Canes Devils series, and like that,
and it was the worst series.
Mm-hmm. Like I love listening to Kenny Albert. He's like one of my favorite commentators.
Yeah, I love Kenny Albert. I thought like the TNT side was way better. I definitely liked some of the ESPN. Like I like Mike Monaco. Lee Hextall is just a useless. I'm so sorry. But I mean, like she was definitely better than she used to be. But still, I'm just like, dude, like you talk in like the most calm voice in the world.
Yeah,
Emily Kaplan is great. as well.
I hope now that we've gotten to less series that they get the better broadcast teams out there now.
Yes, now that it's fewer and thin, they're going to be better. The remote broadcast too needs to stop. That needs to stop as well.
Oh, I
that
hate
was
that.
the end of things. Sportsnet always had their guys there, but for TNT, they did some remote. It was brutal. And I'm basically saying like this is the equivalent of me doing it, of my streams.
Yes,
what they're doing. They get the same feeds that I do. They don't get any different camera angles. Come on, what are we doing?
Joe Bowen, the guy who's done the Leafs broadcast from the radio for like 50 years. Sportsnet and MLSE couldn't bother to pay the money to send him to Ottawa for Games 6, 3, and 4.
Did they have people there like at
They had to do a remote broadcast. They did
remote for Sportsnet?
Yeah, yes.
That's stupid, bro.
For
Toronto to Ottawa?
Yeah, and it's for the radio broadcast. Which I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people do listen to the game on the radio because they can't watch the game.
Yeah, thanks ESPN.
And
or they listen to me. That's the other part too.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, that's the whole problem with the NHL. It's been a problem for years. Like, I have so many people who comment on the streams and are like, "Thank you for this. I can't watch the game or listen." I'm like, how can you not find a way to do that? Like, how has the game become like unmarketable, like unwatchable for some people?
I know in the US you have like the TV deals and it's a whole different thing over here. Like here, like playoffs on here, it's on the national network in Canada. Like I can turn on the CBC and there's a game on.
Yeah, you have it like on cable.
Yeah. So like if you have
like ESPN and all that, you got to pay for like 11,000 different streaming services.
Yeah, and then like CBC's a free. So like if you go log into CBC, you could watch it. Like it's very easy to watch hockey in Canada. It's not as easy to watch it in the United States, which I understand.
That's one of the only reasons why I wish I lived in Canada. I mean, to be honest, I really don't want to live in either country right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. Send me to Mexico. Wait, that might be worse. Never mind. Sorry. I'll stop. Enough.
Anything in the playoffs? So that we said something that shocked you. What anything that you expected or like you knew was going to happen like without a trace?
Well, I must say I went 7-1. Everything kind of went the way I thought it was going to. Again, like the biggest thing was that the Battle of Florida. I thought Tampa was going to put up a better of a fight, and they just kind of folded over after 5. I really enjoyed it this year. I don't know if it was just me streaming all of them and all the games, but I actually genuinely looked forward to like watching every game, and I had like something on the line every game, and it was weird because again, like for me, my team hasn't been in it in like half a decade, and here I am. Unreal stuff.
This year for me, it was different because my team was actually in it, and they haven't been in it in 8+ years, so it was weird. Because I used to watch the playoff games like nothing, like it's like no stress free, just watch it and relax, and then this happened. And now I'm like this with the towel, like oh my god, like
friend of the show, TKD Max BJJ said the same thing, and I'm just like, yeah, I mean, like I still have worry because like I'm way different than all of you. Like I root for teams, and like when I was watching, I remember last year when I was watching like Game 7 of Oilers Panthers, my heart was like through the roof.
Last year was probably the only final where I was like genuinely like really interested in, because like most finals I'm like I'll follow it up, I'll turn on the game, and I wasn't really invested in it. Like last year was the only final in a long time where I was actually really invested in the final.
Well, because last year's final was like historic, like that was like insane. Anywho, any more questions you have for me?
But something that didn't shock me was I would say Tom Wilson's antics.
That too. Yeah, that didn't surprise me.
Yeah, Tom Wilson's antics. The officiating, it never ceases to amaze me.
It's always bad. It's always bad.
I expected it to be bad, and I got what I was expecting. But
it's bad at every level. It's bad in every sport. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, no. And it gets worse in the playoffs.
They let a lot of things go in the playoffs, but there were some things that were called. I'm just like,
what is that?
What? Like, there were a couple, like, trips that I'm like, all right, that's understandable. But there were a couple of hits that I'm like, that's...
There are a couple of roughing calls that are like, what is that?
Yeah, there were a couple of missed calls, too, that I'm just like, you need to call that even in playoffs. It's always there. It's always poor officiating.
Will it ever go away? Probably not.
Yeah, honestly. Going back to, like, our overall, like, bracket and stuff, What is your cup prediction now post first round? Since your bracket is just absolutely just thrown out the window.
Here's the thing. I have what I want, and I have what I think is going to happen.
Okay, what do you want?
I honestly want McDavid versus Ovechkin.
Oh, that'd be fire.
I think it's going to be Dallas, Florida.
Oh, you're gonna throw hands with somebody then, aren't you? That'd be like a Southern Cup final.
And I think the media up here would fucking hate it. Like it's insane. Like it's insane to me how like like as soon as like Florida or Canada made the final pass out of years, a Toronto media just goes into some like blitz. How we keep players back up. I'm like hey, let's fucking relax. Like
that'll be a low view final if that happens.
I'm like half the players are Canadian anyway. It doesn't really matter.
That's how it's been for 33 years. Like
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's how it's been for 110 years, if we're being completely blunt with ourselves right now. What I think is going to happen, Vegas will overtake Carolina in the final. That's my cup pick for the beginning of the playoffs. I'm actually doing pretty good. I'm shocked. I am still so angry that Tampa lost. I'm so mad because I would have had a perfect bracket.
I'm gonna ask
you. And I haven't in like 5 years.
That's your bracket, though. What do you want to happen?
What do I want to happen? I mean, low key that. Like I'm honest. I don't care what happens in these playoffs, but I do want to see McDavid go to the final. I just want to see it happen. I've always liked the Oilers. I want to see McDavid win a cup. On the other side, I don't care. Like I don't really care. What I want to happen, I guess I would roll with McDavid versus Ovechkin would be cool. Maybe a rematch of last year. That was so much fun last year.
I mean, I would hate it so much, especially if Toronto makes the final. Like if Toronto makes the final, I might have to retire. I'm not gonna lie.
It'd be fun.
Toronto Edmonton would be a fun final.
And a Canadian team would finally break the curse.
Yeah, that's the only reason I would do it.
Well, actually, as well as that too, I posted like a video like almost 2 years ago after Vegas won the cup. I said next 10 Stanley Cup winners, and I picked Edmonton last year, and they lost in Game 7. But I picked Edmonton this year, so let's see.
Yeah. Want to move on now?
Yes, let's move on from the playoffs. Let's get into our last topic here before we wrap up. So you wanted to talk about the coaching vacancies. So let's do that. Do you want to just take the lead here? Which team are we going to go to first?
So I have these vacancies right here, but I'm going to ask you how favorable. Like if you were a head coach in the market and they interviewed you, how likely are you to take the job?
Okay.
Is this in a randomized order?
Okay.
Chicago. Name me the pros. Name me the cons.
Pros, the cons. You have a team that is in the very not beginning of the rebuild, but towards the middle of the rebuild. You still got a couple of years to get out of the tunnel. Listen, I'm young. I'm a young coach. I'll mentor the young guys, but it's not a very favorable job in terms of that.
Pros. You are in a big market.
Yes. Big market.
When you're coaching a big market, you get stuff handed to you. You get free. You know what I mean? Like it's if you're a coach anywhere, except in a big market, more people know you. You get the best player in the world playing with you. You get a group of young kids who don't really know how to take that next step, so you can mentor them, coach them up. The cons are the team is probably dog shit. Like I'm not gonna be.
Yeah, team's not good.
Team's not good at all. You're probably gonna have a lot of years. You might get the target on your head as you're not a great coach because of the team not performing. I think out of these, how lucky am I to take this job? It's probably going to be a 4 out of 10.
We're doing it out of 10? Okay. I do like a 3 out of 10, to be honest.
All right. Seattle.
1 out of 10.
Really?
I don't like Ron Francis. I don't like that team. I like how they're building towards the future. I like the fan base. But with Ron Francis at the helm, I can't stand him.
I'm staying away from. I'll be honest. I'm with you here. There's nothing on earth that would. It's not the worst coaching job for me, but I would not go.
Actually, I'll go 2 out of 10. It's not the worst
Yeah,
thing
I would
either.
say 2 out of 10. I love Seattle. I love the city. Fans are passionate.
Is that how many vacancies there are? 10?
No, there's 7, but I'm saying out of 10, how much would you be willing to go?
Okay. All right.
Penguins.
I was going to say we could like rank them that way. That'd be cool.
Penguins.
Said Penguins. 3 out of 10. They're like the same as Seattle.
So team's old.
They're the same as Seattle, but a little bit better.
Team's old, but you also have a GM that might be pressing your buttons.
Oh.
Dubas is a very, very hands-on GM. Team's old. Team's not going to get better, but you're going to lead them into this retool era.
Well, I'm a coach. I'm not a GM,
Exactly.
so
Pittsburgh, I'm not really favoring that one. I would say probably a 3 out of 10.
Great city, good fans. 3 out of 10.
Bruins,
probably a 7 because they could be back in the playoffs next year.
I would say 7 as well. You get Pasternak, you get one of the best players in the world.
Negatives, you have that bitch Don Sweeney and Jacobs and Neely who just don't shut up. They're not as bad as somebody who won't shut up. But I would say, yeah, probably a 7 out of 10 because just the team is still pretty decent. And they have a better future than they did earlier in the year.
Flyers,
I gotta go 10. Like, they're my team. They're my favorite team. Unbiased, I'd probably go like maybe a 7. Or 8, actually. They're building towards a good future.
I would say the Flyers are an up-and-coming team with a high draft pick as well. I like what they're building. I like the core they have there. There's some stuff to clean up, yes. That's not my job, though. That's the coach's job. I'm going to give Philly probably a 6.5, 7.
Yeah, they're not, like, I'm not, like, it's not out of the question that I would go coach there. I would love to go coach in Philadelphia, but, yeah, I don't know. Like,
the cons are is that you're going to get yelled at every time you lose. Like, every time you lose.
What's that?
You're gonna get yelled at by the fans every time you lose. It's still Philly.
It's still Philly, yeah. I mean, you have me making videos about it every single week, so. Oh, I hate this team. Fire him. I'm done. Fire him.
The Ducks. So, yeah.
Ducks? Lucky 9.
I'm not gonna lie, 10.
They might be 10. Like, Greg Cronin makes everything look bad, but you're basically Greg Cronin, but better.
Pastor Beek's gonna let you do your job too.
Yeah, he's going to let you do your job. He's not afraid to steer away from controversy, though, so don't be afraid from that. But, like, they're an up-and-coming team. You live in Anaheim. You live in warmth. You live in palm trees.
Yeah.
And no taxes. Kevin Adams is jealous. But, actually, there is
tax. California has very high taxes.
You live in palm trees and very high taxes, but we don't talk about that. So,
no,
I would
like,
say,
you get to live in, like, literally little paradise. Like, Anaheim is beautiful.
Yeah. Honestly, 10 out of 10. Like, and a young and up-and-coming team, too. You can coach them to the playoffs.
Which is, yes,
and if you don't,
the Ducks next year. Last but not least, Vancouver. 0. Yeah.
Just a terrible situation.
Like, I'll be honest, it seems like no one wants to be there.
You have a president who just won't shut up. You have a GM who doesn't know what he's doing. You have a team that hates each other. You have a captain who's good, but
he's 1 foot out the door.
Yeah, honestly. So no, 0 out of 10 for that.
Vancouver's the most undesirable. I love Vancouver, the city. It's a beautiful city, but the team is just such a disaster.
Yeah, what a disaster class going on there in the city of Vancouver. Just terrible stuff, honestly.
I did have written down of coaches that I think might go to the certain locations. If you want to hear me out,
okay.
I just gotta pull this up. Hang on.
Yeah, there's a good list. I guess we should talk about Mike Sullivan too.
Yes, and the Rangers. Yes, so
the Rangers hired Sullivan. We'll go into that here real quick.
No, I said this is before Tocchet got fired.
Okay.
Tocchet got let go. So, and before the Rangers hired Sullivan, which I already said Sullivan's going to the Rangers. That was the biggest like layup
Yeah, like it doesn't solve all their problems, but it definitely is a good move. Don't worry, he'll be a free agent in 2027. It's all right.
Bruins, Tortorella.
Oh, Max would kill himself.
This was Monday. This is on Monday. This is over a week ago. Okay. So
I can see it. Maybe
Seattle. I have Jay Leach. He was the current assistant coach. Very hot commodity last year on the coaching market.
Peter Laviolette.
So I think Jay Leach would be a very good fit in Seattle. The Hawks. I said Todd Nelson.
Yeah, low key. I saw Nelson tonight. Great coach.
Penguins. I said Mike Van Ryan, who is the
there's gonna be a lot of I think there's gonna be a lot of assistants that get hired,
and Mike Van Ryan has a connection with Kyle Dubas.
That too, yes.
The other option would be Mark Savard.
Oh, I don't know about that.
The Ducks. I said Joel Quenneville.
I
know. I hate it as well. But
they should get David Carl. We said that on a previous episode. That'd be like an incredible fit.
That'd be a match made in heaven. And I think they should get David Carl. This is just what I think might happen. Once again, it's a week old, so my opinion changes all the time. Flyers, Rick Tocchet.
I would hate to see it, but yeah.
Really?
I not hate to see it, but I'd be kind of disappointed. We're not ready for him. It's like Tortorella. We're not ready for Tocchet. We're not ready for a Tocchet coach. I have low-key gotten behind Firschweiler, the coach in Western Michigan. They interviewed him. They interviewed him this week.
Did they?
They did. So I think he would be a good option, but I wouldn't hate Tocchet. I'd just be a little bit disappointed.
You know what's crazy? The Canucks coaching job is on Indeed.
Is it really?
Yes, it's his job as the Canucks head coach.
Where?
Oh no! I'm gonna click this and see. Okay. No, it's not. But it said head. It says head. It says head broadcaster assistant. I thought it said head coach. I got really confused. Sorry about that. But for Vancouver, honestly, I have nobody. I honestly think Jake Woodcroft would be a good head coach there.
Low key, I don't know. They're just in a fleet of disaster. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's all the head coaching. And tomorrow's the draft lottery.
Yes. You know what we're gonna do, LeBlanc?
What?
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do
tier list.
Hang on. No, we're not. Yeah, we're gonna stay here for another 30 minutes. No, we're gonna do
lottery teams would be.
We're gonna do a sim. Woohoo! All right, so 17 hours until the draft lottery. This is the projected ranking. So San Jose, Chicago, Nashville, Philadelphia, Boston, Seattle, Buffalo, Anaheim, Pittsburgh, Islanders. All right, LeBlanc, are you ready?
I'm ready.
We're gonna do one sim. We'll do three. See what possible outcomes are. But this first one is gonna be the lottery tomorrow. We're calling it right here, right now.
Okay.
This will be the lottery. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh my God!
No, what bro, you're gonna make Michael Bartner do backflips.
First overall, Chicago. Second overall, New York. Third overall, San Jose. Fourth, Nashville. Fifth, Philly. Sixth, Boston. Oh,
that might be the worst lottery.
No, it is not the worst lottery.
But it's not a great outcome though. Chicago getting first overall again. First of all, I make sure Chicago doesn't get Gavin McKenna.
That's good. At least I'm glad about that.
I'm just going to 2. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that.
Right,
secondary outcome. Hey, I like that. I like that a lot. Philadelphia.
I don't like Buffalo moving up, though. I can get behind you getting number 1. I can't get behind Buffalo getting number 2.
Buffalo second, San Jose third, Chicago fourth, Nashville fifth, Boston sixth, Seattle seventh. Not great. Not ideal.
The thing is, I'll say after, but let's do it one more time, and then I'll say my piece.
And then the third outcome could be... Oh, no, I like that, actually. Utah fourth, Boston second, San Jose first, Chicago 3rd, Nashville 5th, Philly 6th. If that happens, I'll be happy and pissed at the same time.
So here's the thing about the new lottery. You've never seen a team move up.
Yes, you have not.
We've never seen a team overtake number 1. Ever.
Yep. Wait, are you sure about when did the new lottery rules come in?
They came in 2 years ago.
So 2023. After 2023 or before?
No, so with Bedard.
They came in with Bedard.
Yes. So Bedard was the first one. Then it was Celebrini.
Are you sure? Because Chicago, I think, was 3rd worst in the league. And then they won the lottery. Because Anaheim was the last place team in 2023.
I think you're right, actually.
Yeah, so it has happened, but it's...
We haven't seen a team that's not been bottom 3 move up to 1.
Yes, okay, that's a better one. Good job. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. And then just for fun. Okay, I like that.
Philly, Nashville, San Jose, Chicago, that's fine with me.
That's basic. Basic list.
Wait. Who's one team here that you would, like, be panicking if they got first overall?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
If they get first overall next year.
I think this draft is super weak. But on any team in the Atlantic getting the first overall pick is obviously always a scare. Like Boston getting first overall, that makes me shit my pants. I'm not gonna lie.
And this is the draft that Philly gets first overall in because of how weak it is.
But yeah, so I think that's all we got for today.
That is, yes. All right. We shall see what happens in the draft lottery and into the second round of the playoffs. But that being said, that is it for this episode of the NBP. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. We will be back with you next week. And that being said, thank you all for watching. Enjoy the playoffs, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Ciao.
I just do what I do. See me? I just do what I do. Man, I just do what I do. To know about you, I just do what I do. Check. That's the intro. See that? Yeah. I just do what I do. See me? I just do what I do. Yo, check. Let me flip this script. I feel privileged for all who can witness this. I am close to divine. Know the moment is mine, need no omen or sign. I sprint. Providing a back sound to all the squares that ask around. Be getting it. My skills pay me. Trying to get a million, baby, with an adopted flow that God gave me. Me now. Tell whoever runners that they spot is temporary till I take it as mine. I'm selfish. Your will. Tell Miss I'm on my wealth tip. So when we cash out soon, I'm just investing. Hey, no yes men. I've been a legend since before mom and dad had me and was best friends. I chew through comp, don't test them. I chew on tracks, cause after that I bless them. I just do what I do. You see me? I just do what I do. I just do what I do. I don't know about you. I just do what I do. Check.